Forget about it. Forget about it. Get your shine box. Forget about it. Forget about it. Get your shine box.
What do you think? I'm funny? What?
I'm
here to amuse you.
I'm here to amuse you, ladies and gentlemen. This is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
Today we're going to talk about Penguin, available on HBO Max.
Is it Penguin or The Penguin? Was it The Penguin?
Maybe it's The Penguin.
Yeah, it's The Penguin. Okay.
It's The Penguin, apparently. The Penguin, which is a follow-up to The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. We love that movie. I think we are going to express our great first impression for this one as well. Yeah. But full spoilers ahead. Hey, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Rick
Ponzu.
Yo, Rick Ponzu, thank you so much for leaving a reply, man. On your comments, Attack on Titan, I've read 70% of the manga before it was finished. Won-Jin has not done so. So, I mean, so that's the situation. And the other one, what was it? Jujutsu Kaisen. That's actually after our time, man. So, like, I heard of it, but I never really had the opportunity to watch it.
So if there's so much buzz around it, maybe we should check it out.
So if we do a reaction video, I think Attack of Titan will be very more likely.
I think it's the Attack on Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan. That's an English title. The Korean title is 진격의 거인. That's actually like, I think, a transliteration of the Japanese,
which is also the Chinese letters.
Yeah, which has more meaning to it actually. But what's up, Scott Walker? Hey boys, how you going this week? Alex Harding. We can talk about mythical creatures like we just last week. Yeah, so after this one, we are gonna have a Let's Talk session where we talk about mythical creatures. All right. Thanks to popular demand by Scott Walker, me and Won-Jin, we promise we're gonna talk about that, so we will. But this video in particular is gonna be about
the Penguin,
and full spoilers, not just for this first episode, but for the recent Batman and possibly every Batman movie that has ever been.
Yeah.
If you have not watched that, we can't protect you.
And also probably some stuff on the Sopranos and every other
you can say that for every Mafia movie ever made. Okay, that's fine too. And big shout out to Rick Ponzu. Thank you so much for leaving a reply. Big shout out to Scott Walker for always leaving a reply. Big shout out to ZZ. Big shout out to Ui Chan Hong. Big shout out to Russian ID. Big shout out to Kayla Marie, Jasmine, Zach Miller Does Movie. We still remember your very kind comment telling us to keep doing this. Thank you so much. And so here we go. Before we start.
Oh man, Scott Walker had some great ice cream.
Yeah, and Scott, I read the submersible disaster story. Let's talk about that in our Let's Talk session, okay? Which is gonna, I think, approximately 30 minutes from now. So we're gonna talk about that then, okay? But anyway, here we go. Hey, Won-Jin, forget about it. Hey, Won-Jin, listen, after watching this, I didn't know Gotham was so close to Jersey. It must be like a 30-mile driving distance away from Jersey.
It's apparently very close to Bronx or Brooklyn and New Jersey.
I mean, I didn't know Gotham has such a healthy Italian subculture with a village waiting there. I mean, listen, spoilers. Even Penguin's mom's house, that looked like where the Italian gangsters used to live. All the houses.
But it's no surprise because I'm pretty sure in Batman, the city of Gotham was probably inspired by a lot of these big cities like New York and Chicago. And we obviously see the Italian flair in the bad guys from Batman with names like, Salvatore, Maroni, Falcone. These are all Italian-American
names. Very Italian.
Yeah, very Italian.
The only thing that surprised me was that Oswald's mom didn't cook him a fucking lasagna or a ragu. And so you gotta eat before you go, son. That was the only part missing. But all jokes aside, let me go first. My first impression is, this is an 8-episode series, but my first impression was great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think what really sold me on the first episode was brilliant entertainment. But the underlying like cultural influence, I'm a little bit worried about it though. Like that's how I would put it. Because first of all, I love the intro. Like shooting Alberto, I did not expect it. That was a brilliant move because it made me ultra focused. And I think it's gonna go on for at least like the first half of the series about who killed Alberto.
I did not expect him to be killed there. Because I knew, Penguin was gonna take over eventually.
Yeah.
But that was very abrupt.
And I also love the fast introduction of characters. And I mean, I gotta be honest, this show owes a lot to Sopranos. But now here's my worry though. It's sort of surface level at this point. It does everything that like a YouTube clip of Sopranos will do. But Soprano isn't great because of those 5-minute YouTube clips.
It's like literature.
It's a character study.
That's right.
That's beautifully put, Won-Jin. That's beautifully put, Won-Jin. Oh, mama! Yeah, like
we're sorry if anybody is offended by our mimicking of the Italian American thing.
Me and Won-Jin were big fans of The Wire and Sopranos because that came out when we were in our early 20s.
Yeah.
So, but here back to Oswald. But you know what though? You know what this show does better? Not better, but different than the original Tony Sopranos is. I think it really utilizes its comic book background in the sense that I think, first of all, as audiences, we are more willing to forgive like outlandish stuff. Number one. Number two is there are scenes that are, it's been done before, but either the dialogue or the torture method, I think, they try to do something different, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And the pacing was amazing. The pacing was amazing.
It was like boom, 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 boom.
Exactly. Trying to keep us in suspense, and so they use a lot of these story devices. Remember, Won-Jin, how we talked about in the Rings of Power, for example. We wish that they use more like different story device techniques, like the way Game of Thrones did. Here, I think the first episode was definitely designed to reel us in by killing somebody we didn't expect in the first 5 minutes, and it went boom, 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 boom like that. And another thing is Colin Farrell is amazing.
Ever since Colin Farrell showed up as the Penguin in the Batman movie, I think we talked about it. I always thought the Penguin deserved his own movie or like a show because I thought it was a waste to just use Colin Farrell as the Penguin for like a one-time thing.
Right.
And thankfully they now have a show. So when I first started watching the show, the funny thing is it started with this HBO logo, and the moment that showed up, I had this like relief in my mind because this is like something that every brand should pursue. It symbolizes like entertainment. When that HBO logo shows up, I know that I'm about to watch something that is quality, something that's worth watching.
Right.
So the first episode obviously did not disappoint, and I love how it showed many sides of the Penguin that we did not get to see from the Batman, because the Batman is about the Batman. And Penguin was just like a side character. Like the way he walks and the close-up on his foot, his condition, and all these things. They were all very intriguing in the first episode.
Well, I want to add on to that, though. I agree with you that it caught my attention. But like I said, what I was worried about is, though, we have to keep this in mind, Won-Jin, I think. It's all been done before, though. So I do want to see how it plays out. How, because... him giving a stutter guy a chance because he has a club foot, and even the way he talks in the car, like, am I gonna kill you or am I not gonna kill you? I'm still in hey, look at the sun, look at the sunrise, and then
have this cigar,
and then another favorite of mine is him and what's her name again? I forget.
Sophia?
Yeah, Sophia having a am I gonna kill you, fuck you match, like drinking dirty martinis. Like that was all great. But here's the thing, though. It's all been done before, but I think two things carry this. One is the storytelling technique that we talked about, like the editing and everything. But another thing is it has this same environment, atmosphere vibe that the original the Batman had. The Batman movie had. It looks like a completely different world. And I think that helps with the immersion factor, where it's kind of rainy all the time. It's a very depressing city. Even the environments here, it's basically a copy and paste of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that works well for this series.
For me, I think, like you said, a lot of things have been done before, but something that still catches my attention is the fact that this is based on the Batman universe. And we already know like these spin-offs from the DC Comics universe of these villains. You know, for example, like what's that animation? Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn's Adventures thing.
Harley Quinn was great.
So now that these villains are being like the center of attention, I think this so far is probably the most quality work as a TV show of these DC villains. Because as a movie, we have the Joker.
I agree.
But in terms of TV shows and, you know, these animated series, I think this so far, from the looks of the first episode, this I think is the most rich.
And Won-Jin, I want to add to that. I agree with everything you said. But you know what it does really add besides that? It's that violence. I was kind of caught off guard by how actually violent it was. It's definitely HBO, I can tell you that. It's like that torture scene with Penguin.
Yeah.
I mean, not just that, but the headshot on the boy. Like, this show is just like true HBO fashion.
Yeah, you know, Harley Quinn was okay because that was animated. And they just, like, act like it was nothing. And it's okay because they're cartoon characters. But here, it's a little bit different because they just shot a teenager between his eyes.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad you mentioned Harley Quinn, but I would actually define Harley Quinn as a dark comedy, adult dark comedy. But here, it's still more drama though. There is humor, yes. There is some black comedy, yes. But underlying it is this pulsating. Because I think they did a very visually good job, and hats off to Colin Farrell of how unstable this man is. Remember that Alberto scene?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck,
oh shit! What did I just do?
No, but he's incredibly even that mother scene. It's basically, I think they tried to condense every dialogue that Tony Soprano and Livia had into 3 minutes, and it kind of comes off as Oedipus complex a little. It is. What did you think? I thought it was a little sexual there. I thought it was.
I don't know. I didn't go that far, but I definitely thought, you know, to myself that every gangster has a gangster mom. Yeah.
I mean, that's also been dealt before. What's that Australian crime drama where the mother is actually the matriarch? I forget the movie's name, but that movie awesome.
Maybe Scott Walker knows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like, I like how even in the shorter scenes they play with our expectation.
Yeah.
Because you know, Mom, I gotta run, and then we expect the mother to say, "Oh, child, be safe," and he's like, "Did I raise a bitch?"
What did you do this time? What did you do?
My son is a strong bull, and he's going nowhere. They do this thing where, like, this is why. Okay, as an entertainment, this first episode was amazing. Now, the underlying thing, the reason why I said it the way I said it before is because that remains to be judged after watching 8 episodes. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, because we haven't seen the development yet. We just saw the surface introduction, but I can say the introduction was a fucking banger.
Yeah,
it was a fucking banger.
And this is especially refreshing to me because this is like a look. It kind of gives me the feeling of, what was it? From the Star Wars universe? The espionage thing.
Andor.
Oh, Andor, that's right. Because we got to see like the mundane realities of the Empire. This also kind of gives me the feeling of that, because we get to see like the mundane work of the Penguin and his crime family. Because from the movie, the only thing we see about the Penguin is, you know, like, he's in the club, he's the boss, he managed to stay cool in front of the Batman, and Batman is scary as fuck, but he's still cool, and he's a gangster, and that's pretty much it. But here we see a lot of like struggles that he needs, and a lot of loops and hoops he needs to jump through.
And not only that, but it adds on to the Batman because it shows the quirk behind it, because they show us his club foot. And another thing is, I don't necessarily agree with your comparison with Andor, is because I think this one is, the theme is more crazy though. Because you know why? Because I love the fact that Oswald actually owns a fucking purple lamp. Is that a Lamborghini?
Oh no, that's a Maserati.
No, like listen. It reminded me a lot of Agatha All Along, too, because there's more symbolism here.
She also has that purple
clothes. Yeah. And purple is a symbol of madness.
And also Joker.
Yeah. And another actor I want to praise is Sofia Falcone, because...
I forgot her name, but she's also very Italian. Her name is very Italian. I first saw her in a sitcom. Have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, you told me about her.
Yeah, I remember seeing her in How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, that was a sitcom, and she was this very lovely person. But
she was also in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
she's the first
wife of DiCaprio.
No, but you know what I love about her? Like, she's such a good foil. I mean, not foil, but opposite to Penguin, because she's also crazy. But her crazy is different from Oswald in that I think Oswald kind of wears his crazy on his face. I mean, he's kind of disfigured. I mean, he's not a handsome guy in the show, and I do feel like he has some insecurities about it, because the moment Alberto laughed at him, that's when he killed him, right?
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about Sofia, she's also a different kind of psychopath. Like, she hides it better maybe with her like expensive clothes, but she's like, am I going to be emotional? And then she...
I started feeling uneasy from the scene she was eating at the restaurant. That was kind of unsettling for me.
No, you know what that is?
There's something completely wrong with this woman.
No, that's how you eat in jail. You gotta eat, you gotta hurry the fuck up. And then so, like, what I like about her is, like, I think in a way... her psychoness is her elegance and her psychoticness. But what I love about Penguin is it's his down-to-earthness and his psychoticness. Because you know how he talks to Vic? He's like, yeah, the slushy. Yeah. You got to mix the flavor, man. You got to
mix the flavors.
Yeah,
it tastes better, man.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of... Remember that scene from Sopranos Season 2 where he talks to the guy that shot Christopher Moltisanti, and then he's like, you want a Coke? You sure you sure it's okay, man? And then he, when he shows his true color, it's kind of terrifying, because he's like, that sugarless motherfucker, that's the last drink you're gonna have, and then bang bang bang. And here, I mean, because if you really like, I watched this first episode 2 times. Penguin's argument is like inherently flawed. Remember that first speech he says to Alberto? He's like, oh, remember Caprisi, he was loved by everybody. It's just like, no, he wasn't. Like, how the fuck do, like, you're a gangster. And then like his idea of himself of being a justified and good man, and the things that he actually does is such a stark contrast.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of, actual real world gangsters like John Gotti.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Because there's a strong hint of like inspiration from people like John Gotti. Because yes, he was a criminal mastermind, but to the people in the neighborhood, he was praised. Oh man, like that, Won-Jin, that's a great topic, but I'm scared to open that up here. But let's give a read to our subscribers. She looks cray. Yeah, she's made for that role. Yeah, she's smart and she can hide it so well. Because sex scenes are there in the TV show Sopranos, because I like the TV show Sopranos. And there, I never watched the show. I played the video game, but how much sex scenes? I think it is quite it shows up quite often. It's kind of like Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I think.
She looks like she's naive. She plays the naive, crazy sister, but she can read right through Oz. I wouldn't call her naive. I actually think she's insane. I think the biggest difference between Sofia and Penguin is that Sofia is actually insane. But I think Penguin is not. He has a crazy side to him, and he maybe after the series he'll turn mad. But I think he's actually more aware of his like down to earth, real life, the killer thing. Because Sofia is actually crazy, I think. Scott Walker there. Exactly 10 a little scenes in The Sopranos. Is there? No, but back to your point. Like, on the one hand, hey, Won-Jin, counter my argument, okay? I think you could argue that this is a Mafia series disguised as a Batman series. And because if you think about it, for the past 10 years, Won-Jin, I don't think any Mafia series or movie surpassed Sopranos. I think Sopranos ended that genre. I mean, there were The Irishman and all that, but it never reached that height, you know? I think that's one way to look at it. It's either that or so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Or they need to come up with a show that is completely different and fresh from The Sopranos, because like you said earlier at the beginning of our show, there are a lot of these things that we've seen, especially from shows like The Sopranos. So the mafia gangster genre that came after The Sopranos, like no matter how hard they try, they will always have that ingredient of The Sopranos.
Or let me phrase it another way. They'll be always compared to it.
Yeah, and it'll basically be like this yardstick that they're all compared to.
Well, that's a great way to put it, yeah.
But I also see this as like another Batman and Robin.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I think this is like the criminal villain version of like Batman and Robin in a way. Because Penguin, he doesn't have any superpowers.
Right.
And he now has this kid as a sidekick to like help him along his journey. And, you know, Batman fights crime, but this guy, he's struggling to be on top and take over Gotham. So I'm thinking this is like the villain version of Batman.
I'm glad you said that, because if we combine what we said, that's, I think, how most audiences feel after watching the first episode. Because on the one hand, I can't tell if it's really a Batman story like you said, or it's a Mafia story. Because the Mafia element has been so far very heavy. Very heavy. I mean, like I said, the martini dinner is basically it's gotten from Goodfellas and everything, where they're trying to, you know, read each other, and then we as an audience we know they're both lying or trying to like look for weaknesses. But I thought that element was okay. I will say this though, I do think on your point, I do think the show didn't try to overdo all that element, though. It was more about the Penguin, this downtrodden guy, you know, going to the top, and that, like, I got more Scarface vibe than, yeah.
So this is all these gangster movies that we grew up watching,
exactly,
put together with this flavor of Batman.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, guys, you're going to be here for a big shout. Will Smith has my San Andreas Grand Theft Auto movie. What do you guys think about that? Should they? Yeah, I mean, they should have. Grand Theft Auto movie, I'll watch. You're right. Oz is training the kid, but I wonder who the kid will become. Yeah.
Well, anyways, like you said, it's very also similar to Scarface, because first you have nothing, but you get the money, then you get the power, then you run the city, and this is basically the plan of the Penguin after that power vacuum, following what's his name, Carmine's death.
Oh, let's talk about the details that we love too much. You know what I love? My favorite character is Salvatore Maroni. That's my table.
That's such a power move.
Yeah. And then, like, I love his insults too. Like, one is direct. I thought you got tired of eating Falcone's ass. And then another one is actually indirect. How did you get this ring, bitch? And then I think a lot of these characters are gonna find out how, like, you know, Penguin is one of those characters, I think, at least portray. This is my prediction. He's one of those characters that he doesn't really have a plan, but he's dangerous when he's cornered. Like, even his, like, brain scheme here, I thought it came from, I mean, after the mother speech, of course, but, you know, he's almost reactionary. Like that's his psychoness.
Yeah, like he's a survivor basically. And I until we saw what happened towards the end of the show, I did not know why he gave that ring back to Salvatore Maroni. And then later I find out he's kind of pitching the two gangs against each other.
He's scheming.
Which is very smart.
Yeah. But I kind of dislike D'Lo and Milo, those two characters, though. I thought they were kind of wrongly cast.
The one who's played by the guy from House of Cards.
Yeah, I mean, I love the actor, but I thought he was kind of miscast here because he does not come off as like a mafia person to me.
Yeah, he's kind of, to me, he kind of felt out of place.
Yeah,
because I was thinking to myself, I thought this was an Italian mafia.
Yeah.
You don't really seem like the type. Maybe this is from The Godfather, because remember, what's his name, Tom?
Yeah.
Was it Tom?
They're
conciliary.
Yeah.
He's from outside the family. Maybe he's like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they did not really fit in seamlessly that moment.
Yeah.
But that was quickly
maybe it was an editing decision though, because it's 1 hour, it's 1 hour and 6 minutes the first episode. Without the credit it's 1 hour, but it for me it felt like 30 minutes. So I think they had to make some choices, but I thought it was very, very, very efficiently done. But in terms of casting, I mean, they're great actors in other roles. Maybe they will show us different scenes on the next episodes, but at least in the first episode, for me, that was the weakest part. Those were the weakest part, and I think you agree with me. But the strongest part was Alberto's casting was great too. What a fucking princeling prick. Yeah, like that guy. He's in different roles too. He's a great actor playing that asshole type. But I thought
I was kind of happy when he got shot.
You were,
yeah, because like the moment he started insulting the penguin in his face for his little dream, I kind of hoped that he would die painfully later on in the show. And just as I was thinking that, he got shot. I was like, okay.
Oh, another thing is, though, this series continues the theme of the recent Batman about social class. Because the very introduction is about how the flood after the explosion affected the poor more than the rich. So I don't know yet, but I do wonder how far they're trying to take that message, because that was definitely a message in Batman. It's almost a social commentary, the recent Batman, more than the other Batmans before. So because Oswald, he keeps saying, like, his dialogue to Vic, he says, I started from nothing, I'm going up, and I think that
we gotta take what we want.
Yeah, so that kind of resonates with today's people, right? Especially considering the global economic situation.
Yeah, and I recently saw on the news, the top 1% of Americans, they hold more wealth than the entire middle class in the U.S. That was like the news 2 days ago. And
Jin, with your honest opinion, what do you think of the idea of Will Smith being in Grand Theft Auto?
I don't think it's a good fit, because Will Smith, he's not really fit for like a gangster type. I think this may not be a fair comparison. A lot of people might get angry, but to me, it kind of feels like, what was it? Like Vince Vaughn playing a bad guy
on True Detective?
Yeah, because
like the Mafia boss.
Will Smith has been on so many, these like family movies, and he's a good guy, and he's a cop fighting crime, and even when he rapped, he had no curse words. So it would feel very, very awkward for me to see Will Smith play someone. I mean, play a role for Grand Theft Auto. I mean, Denzel Washington, it makes sense, and all these other actors who are known for playing a fantastic villain makes sense. But I think Will Smith also, personally, he doesn't prefer playing a villain.
Zezzy, I like the ring plot twist. As a mafia lord, you're always targeted, so he doesn't. No, but Zezzy, I would frame it differently. He hasn't shown his true intention yet, because he's not powerful enough. So he's playing both sides whilst he's relatively weaker than they are. But so it's a strategy. It's a strategy. How come they didn't bring in the Penguin and Dark Knight series? I would have loved to see Penguin and Dark Knight series. Yeah, Skywalker, I think they had a problem with. Because first of all, Tim Burton's Penguin is very iconic, and it's kind of
by what's his name?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, yeah.
So it's kind of associated with the ridiculousness, possibly. But this one, we are also introduced to Penguin easily because of the Batman movie, and it's more of a realistic, quote unquote, portrayal. So, but I think it's very hard to put that character in, depending on how you present the movie. If you're presenting it like Tim Burton, it becomes easier. Yeah. But I think Penguin and some characters in particular are really hard to put in real life environment.
Yeah. And The Dark Knight was a very different Batman. Like, up until that point, all the Batman that we had seen was, in a way, very similar to the original Tim Burton's Batman. Because although they were movies, they had this cartoonish elements in them. For example, like Batman 1 and 2, Batman Forever, the Riddler, and Batman and Robin with the Iceman. What was it? What was that his name? Iceman? The one played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's trying to save his wife.
Iceman.
Is it Iceman?
I don't think it's Iceman. It's Freezer.
Oh, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Was that his name? Yeah, Mr. Freeze, I think. So they all had these very cartoon elements, but The Dark Knight, it's kind of like making like Ridley Scott direct The Lion King. It suddenly has so much gravitas. So if we had the Penguin along with the Joker, then I don't think we'll have the Dark Knight that we know today.
No, but what Christopher Nolan's Batman series didn't have is the noir element, though. Because I thought the Matt Reeves Batman had more noir elements. It's a little darker. It's a little sadder.
It kind of made me feel like reading the adult comic version of the Batman.
So I think Matt Reeves, his mission was to present his own realistic Batman, but at the same time bring that mood of the comics. Comics is actually it's not like, because Christopher Nolan is like orchestra heavy, but that's not really Batman in the comics. It's more dun 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 dun. Okay, that's actually Sith. That's from like Star Wars, but you know what I mean. Like that music. It's darker. It's more like grandiose in a way, in a darker way. Is playing the character of Carl, the main character of a video game. Check out the cast. It's pretty good casting. Yeah. Okay, Walker, we will. You know, it took me 28 years to understand why they called him the Penguin. You don't understand why he's called the Penguin?
Maybe ZZ hasn't seen the Batman 2.
Yeah.
Was it? What was the Penguin in Batman 2? Yeah. Batman 1 was the Joker, played by Jack Nicholson. Batman 2. It was called Batman Returns. That one was the Penguin and also the Catwoman.
No, but the Penguin is called the Penguin because of the way he walks. It's as simple as that. The second one, because the Batman Return Penguin is not comic book accurate Penguin. It's Tim Burton's portrayal of Penguin, because in the movie he eats like fish and stuff. He actually acts like a penguin. That's not how he is in the comics. In the comics, he walks funny because of his clubfoot. So that's why he's called Penguin, but he embraces it. He's still more of a gangster than in the movies. So that's not accurate. Like, well, it's an interpretation that's not really faithful to the comics. It's more of a Tim Burton interpretation. But here, the Penguin we're seeing now is more comic book accurate interpretation. And I love it so far.
And I also love the nickname of Sofia. What was it? The Hangman?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder. And I think we kind of got the hint of why she's called the Hangman.
No, because in the comic, she's actually a big woman. Because in the comic, Carmine is portrayed as this classic mafia boss villain in a comic where he's built like a steroid user. And Sophia is big like her father. She's always portrayed as a very bulk woman, but here they're taking the opposite thing.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with it because I think the first episode showed two things. One is that she's lethal. Number two is, you got to remember, Penguin fooled her. So if you can be fooled once, that means you can be fooled twice or three times. So I think the first episode showed that Penguin, at least in this series, is more of a schemer. And I think he's going to try to scheme Salvatore, Maroni, and Sofia. And I think that's going to be at least the first half of this series, like some mafia scheming.
And he's very good at, what's it called, like thinking on his feet. Because we see that at the very early stage of the episode where he gets caught by Alberto while he was digging that secret stash of like the file and the jewelry and everything, and then he just turns around. I was like, I can now save the trip. Your father wanted this for you. Blah 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 blah.
I thought Alberto knew that, but he was just letting it slide because he's also like, one thing we learned from Tony Soprano's and Godfather is that they're always lying, like the mafia people.
They know.
Yeah, so that's like that. That's the energy we got. He was always eating fish, dressed in tuxedo, and penguin under his clothes. That's from the Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was so disappointed that they called him Penguin because I used to like penguins. He's also a natural-born liar. He lies so naturally. But they're all liars, They're all liars. That's why Sofia is paranoid. You're always lying. Cost of others. But I do love Colin Farrell's acting, though, because he has these weird quirks. Every time someone dies, he seems to be very happy. And shit like that. So,
Man. And can you believe that this guy is Irish? It's amazing that the way he can act, because another Irish actor, Liam Neeson, whenever he plays like an American role, you can tell that he's Irish. But Colin Farrell, he just blends this into him just so perfectly. It's so convincing that this guy is from Jersey or I don't know, Brooklyn or the Bronx.
Definitely. So anyway, I think that covers almost everything.
Yeah.
This is the first episode. So let's put it this way, Won-Jin. My first impression is great. I'm definitely gonna look forward to more episodes dropping from this series, and I'm gonna watch it. And maybe we can answer the questions that I posed in the beginning after we finish the season. You know, I couldn't believe he was the same actor. That makeup artist was so good at making the penguin makeup. Yeah, definitely. And I do like him like bonding with Vic though, because he has a speech impediment.
Yeah.
So there's like, before I end it, I'll put it in sentences. It remains to be seen whether this breaks new ground, but the details are very, very original and thought over.
And also the entertainment value of the show, from the looks of the first episode, is also very good.
Yeah. The presentation of everything has been great.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, that's our first impression of the first one. Shall we give it a score or not?
Let's just give it like a first impression score. I would give it a 9
out
of 10.
That's
just based on the first episode.
Yeah.
It was a very strong episode.
I give it an 8.5 because sometimes watching it and finding Tony Soprano's element made me happy. Sometimes it annoyed me. Like I'm sorry to sound so pompous, but me and Won-Jin, like, I think every guy like in our age grew up with gangster films. So I think we gotta keep a watch out on that. I wonder if his mom is crazy or not, because she just sounds like the mother of the year. Hey, Zessie, I'm glad you mentioned that. I have this feeling that Penguin might kill her at the end of the season.
Maybe. Because that would kind of also like be very symbolic.
Yeah.
And
because that's something Tony couldn't do.
I also thought, before we end, it was like hilarious when he was going to the suburbs, like take that train and drive a Volvo.
Yeah.
Man, that was like the most like non-gangster thing ever.
No, and not just that, but the details. He turned off the CD at the moment, like, 'cause we know you like that song, but they're pretending you don't. Because you gotta show your gangster friends your gangster side, and then you gotta show your other side, and those are the details that I really liked.
And I was thinking to myself, he should have driven that when he went back to his place, because Sofia instantly spotted the purple Maserati. Yeah. She wouldn't have like spotted him had he like pulled up there in that Volvo. Yeah. But anyways,
no, I thought there was a lot of symbolism and great like because remember in the car when Penguin missed Vic for the first time, they asked about the neighborhood, but we later learned that neighborhood is destroyed from the flood. So they're really, I would say this: the show is great at like making us like keeping us interested in the show by flipping the script all the time, foreshadowing and then paying off. And then there was a lot of micro moments like that in the episode, I would say, that really I thought was done effectively to keep me occupied. I mean, she doesn't even care that her boy is a criminal. She's just in prison. Yeah, I mean, like it reminded me of Alexander, the movie by Oliver Stone, where Angelina Jolie is always making Colin Farrell feel like she's the shit, because Colin Farrell was in that movie too.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we're gonna be back in 3 minutes to do a Let's Talk session with y'all.
Let's Talk session
with mythical creatures. This has been JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
We'll see you guys in a bit. Bye.
Back.
Yo, Won-Jin, why'd you put that salad in the fridge? I was about to eat
I
it.
brought some cannoli here. You want some?
Cannoli? Did you get it from the 158th Street? I told you not to go there. She's always
dead in the middle of Little Italy.
Jersey.